Do you want to know why you're not growing and progressing in the gym? It's because, bro, you are not training hard. And I mean training hard, pushing your body to its absolute limit when you're in there for an hour, hour and a half, whatever you're training. Whether you're bodybuilding or you're more of like an athlete style type of training, it sounds so easy, just train hard, but I don't think people realize that where you can tap into your mind and actually be able to take yourself when you're working out. I grew up wrestling, and wrestling taught me a discipline and a work ethic that I'm forever grateful for, and I've been able to take that into, my bodybuilding style of training and be able to go from 130 pounds to 185 pounds. And even when I first started training in the gym, I thought I was training so hard because I used to go so hard in practice. I was cutting weight and still training hard. I was pushing myself cardiovascular wise, but with wrestling and in matches, all that stuff. But it wasn't until I started to mature in the gym and be able to structure my training in a way where I actually knew I was getting the most out of what I was doing when I was in there, and I was actually pushing myself to my absolute limit. And it's two ways about it. It's coming from the exercise side of it, like science wise, and the mechanics in the gym. But then there's also a part where you push so hard from the things you go through in your life. And that was part of the reason I learned to be able to train so hard. And I think people around me would like question like where do where this work ethic come from? Because I dealt with a lot of things early on in my life, especially in high school when I was wrestling stuff. But wrestling was my outlet. Then a couple years passed, and if you guys saw any of my previous content, I lost my mom in 2020, and the gym became my obsession. And the anger and the emotions that I felt, I translated right into the gym because there was nowhere else for me to get rid of that emotion. And I pretty early on grasped form, training style, efficiency, and structuring my training like for a bodybuilder kind of style. Um, Not that I'm like some crazy serious competitor, but it's the style of training that I enjoy now because I want to put on mass and have a great aesthetic physique. And when I would go into the gym, it was just like every day, just like wanting to go in and just throw the weights around and just push myself to a limit that was better than yesterday. And it was like I was in such a dark place that the training became so intense. And I got to train with some bodybuilders at my gym that I've competed in the IFBB and won pro titles, and I got to see that kind of side of it too, on how to actually push yourself in the gym on that pro level. So it over the years you just start to mature in the gym and you learn like how far you can actually push yourself. I thought 2 years ago that was the farthest I can push myself, and I can confidently say the past 2 years have been the hardest I've ever trained. And I've been training for 7 years straight now. Consistency with my diet. Obviously, like when I first started, I had so much to learn, but I kept progressing over time. And I kept learning more and more how to actually push myself hard in the gym. And like I said, it sounds so easy to do, but there's so many people where I see them train and it's like they have so much more left in the tank. Or if they trained with a partner and saw like and had a good training partner, how much further that person can push them as well. I've had some great guys that I've trained with that have unlocked like another level in my head and in my body that I'm like, damn, I can really push myself a lot harder. And then when I go and train on my own, I can push even harder, and I learn like that pain threshold to push through. It's your body is only going to change and respond to intensity and breaking down the muscle and pushing past failure. It's like if you're running a mile, like you're going to have to run even harder, do other styles of running, sprints, even run a longer distance if you want to get that mile time down. Or if you want to get that cardiovascular system to a level where you're not gassing out in the sport that you're in. You have to take things further and further and push your body further and further to see the results that you want. And when I learned that with wrestling and the aspects of that sport, I translated it into the gym. But it was a different style of weight training. It wasn't like powerlifting like we were doing for wrestling and strength training. Now it was like bodybuilding, strength, and hypertrophy. And when I started, like I said 2 years ago, I really thought I was like, damn, I'm training the hardest I've ever trained. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, yeah, I had another level. Like, and I still feel like I can learn even more to train harder. Um, and it's like, and you got to be smart about it too. I'm not saying go to the gym 7 days a week and you got to like, destroy your body 7 days. Like, you also obviously rest is very important if you're trying to build muscle. That's extremely important. I train 3 or 4 days on, and those 3 or 4 days, I'm going intense to the point like on the third or fourth day, I know like when I'm like, yeah, I need a rest day. And I didn't feel that in the beginning when I was training, because in the beginning I was training like 6, 7 days a week sometimes, and it was just, no rest days, like that's for the week, like kind of mentality. And then it caught up to me once I started learning how to push myself more, needed to recover, and the nutrition and everything. So, it's like, not to like call people out, but like I'm gonna be honest, some people like train like a bitch, and they have this bitch mentality in the gym, like, oh, I'm doing enough, oh, I showed up, I'm putting in the work. It's not how it works. You don't just show up and you're just gonna grow muscle like week by week. Like, there are people that I see look the same, and even on PEDs that look the same that they did a year ago, 2 years ago. It's like crazy to me because like this this they haven't learned the mentality and how hard they can actually go and push their mind and their body. Because where you can take your mind, your body's going to follow. And that's where it all starts, is in your mind, knowing you can push harder. In a set, like controlling the weight and bringing yourself to a pain threshold where you're pushing and you're going to grow. You're going to cause stimulus in the muscle and grow. It's like, I don't know if some people just don't want to take it that seriously, but when I talk to guys and they're like talking about like wanting to do a show, or they, have these aspirations and goals for their physique and all these things, then I'm around them and like they're not training hard. Or even people that I watch in videos and stuff, like it's like, dude, you're not going to get the results you want because you're half-assing it. Like, and a work ethic is tough because like part of it I feel like you can teach people. Like, I can hopefully, like, I'm pushing you guys right now to like kind of learn, and from more of my content to come, learn from me and what I'm doing training, and like my mentality side, because that's a big thing about my channel is my mindset. And that's where I think I really progressed in the gym, was building my mindset, and the using the factors that I've, or the pain that I felt to push me in the gym, and then also just want to become a better version day by day, is really pushed me to learn how to push my limits to the max. And it's something where when you apply that in the gym, it applies to everything else that you do in your life. So when you're constantly training your mind and training your body to push more and more and more, and push harder and be better than you were yesterday, it's going to apply to like anything else in business or anything you're pursuing outside the gym as well. Like I said, with your mind, when you push your mind, your body's going to follow, and your mind's going to be trained to do even more outside of the gym. And I've really seen that too, like my business, like learning and building my mentality in and out of the gym. Like, my business has grown more because I'm learning things about myself and how much more I can push, because it's different. It's a more of a mental kind of fatigue than a physical fatigue. And the gym is both, honestly, like when you're in a set and you're really pushing. So it's with anything. Like, build the mentality that day by day, and when you step into the gym, that you are going to absolutely crush it and push your body and mind to the absolute max. And there are days that like you're not going to feel the best, you're not going to feel 100%, the pump is off, your strength is off. But when like, for me, what I've taken from those days is, and this is something that my wrestling coach used to say, every day you step into the practice room, you got 1% better. And every day, and then when the season adds up into the end, you're almost 100%, because I think there's about, like, the high school season, I can't remember how many days there were, but when you just think about like 1% better, you stepped in the gym, you showed up and trained hard, not just showing up, you showed up and trained hard. Still on that day, you didn't feel your best, you didn't feel 100%, you still got 1% better. And that's what I take from like the days when they don't feel the best, because you are not going to feel amazing every single day, full of energy, have the most amazing pumps. Even if you're in a prep, that's a whole another level. Like, when you're prepping for a show and you're dieting low carbs and manipulating your carbs to get down to single digit body fat, like, that really teaches you how to really push yourself. And I even see guys with that too. They're in prep and they're not training hard. They just expect the drugs or whatever, the cardio, to do what it's going to do, but it's all up here. I think that's one of the biggest things that has helped me progress in life, and in multiple aspects, like my business, what I've gone through, handling situations with people and things like that, is that your mind is going to control and give you the outcome you want for a lot of things. And that's what sports, the gym, business, school, whatever you're pursuing in your life, personal development, it all stems to your mind. And I think when you can master your mind, you're going to see the progression in everything that you want to see. And when people actually take that seriously, because there's a lot of people I'm around, like like I said, they're whether it's a gym or not, but they don't take their mindset seriously, and it's just kind of like not a I don't know I don't know how to explain it because it's something I've always focused on, and it started mainly when I was wrestling, um, but everything is mental. So it's when you think about the gym and why you're not seeing the results you want, take a step back and take the ego away and really think to yourself, am I training hard enough? If my diet's perfect, if my sleep is perfect, all the other factors, and you're not growing, something's not there, and I guarantee you it's because you can push yourself harder in the gym. I've been in that spot where my diet was good, my sleep was good, and then I unlocked the gears and really learned, wow, I could have been pushing myself harder. Wow, I could have pushed myself harder here. I could have used these intensifiers in the gym. I could have structure my workout this way to make this even harder on my leg days or anything. Like, absorb, learn from people around you, learn from the people in your niche, like the tops. Like I'm watching, Chris Bumstead, Derek Lunsford, all these bodybuilders. That's the style of training that I love, and watching the intensity and taking what they do and implement it and learn how to push myself to the extreme when I'm in the gym. For me, it's therapy, especially too. Like, the gym for me is a place for me to let out all of my emotion and my anger because I have bad days, and I know everybody does. And, when I leave, it does help me feel a lot better. And I know I crushed it in the gym and I'm getting better physically and mentally. So when you're in that stagnant place and you're questioning and those things are perfect, that's what you need the result to, is really question yourself. Am I training hard enough? Am I pushing my body and my mind to the absolute max to get the results that I want? Listen, you guys are fine with maintaining and being where you're at, that's fine. But I'm talking to the people that when you want to become the best version of yourself, the best man possible, the best physically and mentally, it all stems from pushing yourself to the absolute limit. So guys, this is Driven Talk, episode 3. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys are looking to take your training, your physique, your diet, your mindset to the next level, in my description, you can book a call with me. We can sit down and talk about your goals and see if you're a good fit to work one-on-one with me. So guys, like I say every time, be driven. I'm rooting for you guys. Let's achieve some goals.